Ever feel like you're playing by a rule book that you didn't even write? Well, today we're diving into a book that says that's exactly what's happening. We're breaking down Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements, a powerful guide based on ancient Toltec wisdom. It gives us a simple, but honestly, life-changing framework for taking back the pen and writing our own story. Right out of the gate, the book hits you with this mind-blowing idea. Just let that sink in for a second. You are dreaming right now. It's this wild concept that pulls the rug out from under everything we think is real. What if our society, our beliefs, everything is just part of a massive collective dream? Getting your head around that is really the first step to waking up. Okay, so if life is a dream, what kind of dream are you actually living? That's the big question the first part of the book tackles. It exposes what Ruiz calls the dream of the planet, this unconscious reality we're all taught to accept, which, according to him, is where all our suffering comes from. It all starts with a process he calls domestication. And think about it. It makes perfect sense. When you're a kid, your parents, your teachers, society, they're constantly training you. Good boy, bad girl. You get rewarded with attention and love for following the rules. So what do? You agree to follow them. And before you know it, bam, you're living society's dream, not your own. All those thousands of little agreements we make get compiled into what Ruiz calls the Book of Law. This is your personal, internal rule book. It's the code that dictates every single judgment you make about yourself and about everyone else. And here's the really scary part. You never actually chose most of these laws. Many of them are just flat out wrong. Now, this is where the imagery gets intense. Ruiz says this entire internal system is like a parasite. Yeah, as creepy as it sounds, it's this program living inside our minds that literally feeds on negative emotions, fear, drama, self-pity. It's that nagging voice of self-doubt, the inner critic that just drains your energy and keeps you from being happy. And this parasite isn't working alone. Oh no, it's got two main henchmen, the judge and the victim. The judge is the part of you that whips out that book of law for every little thing, constantly finding you guilty. And then the victim chimes in, believing every word, saying, "Poor me, I'm not good enough," soaking up all that blame and shame. It's this vicious, endless cycle inside our own heads that causes so much pain. Okay, so that's the problem. And it sounds pretty bleak, right? But, and this is a big but, there is a way out. This is where we get to the good stuff, the Toltec path to freedom. It's the map that shows us how to break free from this nightmare and start creating a much, much better dream. You see, the ancient Toltecs laid out a practical map for this exact journey. The whole point isn't to escape reality, but to become the master of your own inner world. The path is built on 3 key stages, or masteries, designed to lead us back to who we really are, happy, free, and full of love. So, this path has 3 stages. First up is the mastery of awareness. That's the aha moment when you realize you're actually in a dream. Then comes the mastery of transformation, which is all about actively changing it. And this is where the 4 agreements come in. They are the actual tools you use to do the work. And the final result, the mastery of love. All right, let's get to the main event, the 4 agreements themselves. These are 4 incredibly simple but deeply profound practices that give you the power to tear up those old limiting agreements and write new ones that actually lead to personal freedom. First up, and Ruiz says this is the big one, the most important one, be impeccable with your word. So what on earth does that actually mean? Well, impeccable literally means without sin. But a sin, in this context, is just anything you do that goes against yourself. So being impeccable with your word means you stop the negative self-talk. You stop gossiping about other people. You speak with total integrity. It's about recognizing that your words create your reality. So you've got to use that power for truth and for love. All right, number 2. This one is an absolute game changer for your relationships and your own peace of mind. Don't take anything personally. And you have to get this because it'll change how you see everything. Nothing anyone else does is because of you. It's not about you. Their words, their actions, it's all a projection of their reality, their book of law. Once you truly, deeply understand that, you become immune. Their opinions and their negativity just can't hurt you anymore. You're free. Number 3 tackles something we all do, and it is the source of so much unnecessary drama in our lives. Don't make assumptions. You know how it is, right?
We create these entire movies in our heads about what someone else is thinking or why they did something, and we're almost always wrong. The antidote is so simple, but it takes courage. Ask questions. Tell people what you really want. If you just practice this one agreement, you could probably eliminate most of the conflict in your life. Seriously.
And that brings us to number 4. This is the one that really ties all the others together and puts them into action. Always do your best. Now, the key thing to get here is that your best isn't some high bar of perfection. It changes. Your best when you're healthy and full of energy is going to be way different from your best when you're sick. By just committing to do your best in any given moment, whatever that looks like, you completely disarm that inner judge. There's no room for self-criticism or regret. It's all about the effort, not the outcome. So when you start putting all 4 of these into practice, day after day, that's when the real magic starts to happen. You stop being just a character in someone else's dream, and you become the artist of your own.
And look, this isn't a one-and-done kind of deal. It's a practice. Every single time you consciously choose one of these new agreements, you're breaking an old, toxic one. You're slowly starving that parasite and rewriting your own personal rulebook with laws based on self-love and truth.
And the difference is, well, it's night and day. You go from a life run by that parasite, all about fear and judgment, to one lived from your authentic self. You shift from being stuck in the past or worried about the future to being right here in the present moment. It's what Ruiz calls the difference between living in a personal hell and creating your own personal heaven on earth.
And here's a really beautiful final thought on this. This journey isn't selfish. Not at all. When you heal yourself, when you stop spreading what Ruiz calls emotional poison, you literally change the world around you. Your freedom, your love, it creates ripples. It is the greatest gift you can possibly give.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate takeaway from this book. You are the artist of your life. You hold the paintbrush. You have the power to wake up from the collective dream and design a new one that's all your own. So the question isn't if your life is a dream, it's what kind of masterpiece are you going to create?